Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much again for joining me here. Hope you're having a great day. Let's take a look here at SUI, double check what's going on. Boy, it hasn't looked back since it broke this descending trend line, right, folks? That's awesome stuff. This is actually perfect. I want to kind of just quickly describe this play out potential here. This is not a gloating situation whatsoever because it could have very well gone down. I always like to give you two potential scenarios whenever I post my play out charts, just because it's important to recognize that there's always two sides of the coin. But this being kind of bullish and recommending nobody ever shorts this coin, I'm glad you didn't. This point, it basically broke out, and then here's what to look for too, and this is how you get into these nice positions here. This local high here was effectively broken, right? So instead of FOMOing in right here, which again hindsight's 2020 still would have been beneficial, the price action pulled back to this level here to retest that local resistance range and to effectively bounce off this level. It's a little easier to see on the hourly time frame, so it's probably a better example, but you can kind of see this previous high turned into a new low, right? This is how trading's supposed to work, where it breaks through a resistance range, comes back down to retest it. This is your considered entry, and the price goes higher. This is basically what you want to look for. So again, hindsight's 2020. If you're looking at it now, it's too late, of course, in a lot of ways as far as getting in at that lower level. But you want to try to look for bullish backtest of resistance ranges. That's when you want to consider getting in. So this is just a great example, a good learning tool for you to kind of see and what to look for future reference. Let's take a look at the backend data and kind of double check a few things too here with SUI and see what's going on. I want to quickly congratulate our community members. While we didn't take a long with SUI, we did short Bitcoin with some good success from about 95.3 to like 91.5, about 32% profit there in 18 hours from yesterday. So again, this is exactly the reason why I was mentioning to my community, don't get short heavy because a lot of the altcoins are starting to bottom out, and it's important not to be a late short. Okay, again, a lot of times you can see that based on liquidation, which here, of course, is shifted momentum. But with this being too high for too long or too low for too long, too many people shorting the market makers know that and they pump the price, right? So we are in a good position right now for SUI. Let's quickly take a look here at liquidation for the upper range. We can see 520 to 580 as a pretty large range. We got high leverage shorts right here, medium, and then low leverage up about 580. So anyone who shorted with 5x leverage or lower, they probably got a liquidation event at 580 or a stop loss there. But no matter how you look at it, this is a very heavy concentration. Each one of these red bars is about $500 million. Okay, that's a lot of money. Okay, so just note that if we break through our resistance range, it's probably going to be on price discovery and continue to that upper 5, closer to low $6 range. So that's awesome stuff. We look here, liquidation delta has shifted. It's hard to kind of see, but there is basically a dynamic shift here, effectively telling us that people are now very much taking longs versus shorts. But you also got to recognize jumping into the top right when we're closer to a resistance range, that 540. It may not be the most appropriate consideration, but we're going to talk about what to look for and reasons for confirmation that might actually incentivize a long position. Okay, but me personally, I don't like to just FOMO into a coin that's taking off. Even though you can find some benefit, if you watch it closely, you can. But if you're like just swing trading, you're setting it and forgetting it, sometimes it's best to do your due diligence and to look at things a little deeper. All that being said, local open interest, we can see the heaviest concentrations of open interest. People got in pretty heavy at 495 and of course 520, 530. So those easy round numbers to remember will be potential resistance ranges for us. So 520, 530, let's remember those. All right, so daily time frame, let's work our way down. We're going to go ahead and remove that and just recognize that the previous resistance range is effectively a support level there between 475 and 445, close approximate. Basically, 490 is that support, easy way to understand it. If we take a look, though, here, we're above all moving averages. As I mentioned previously, absolutely do not short this coin. We can recognize we've remained above 50 in the RSI, all the more reason to consider long positions versus short positions with this coin. Same thing as well with stochastic swinging up, MACD is still converging. There's a tremendous amount of reasons why you do not, short this coin. I'll probably sound like a broken record. Sorry if I do. And then of course also just got to make sure that you recognize too that the market is in a unique place right now, and this is typically the front runner for a majority of altcoins. So if you're planning to take along with some altcoins, just be mindful that Bitcoin is taken off right now, broke cleanly through its $95,000 resistance range. We got to see if it holds. Right, that's the important thing here. Double checking that. Okay. Anyways, I know this isn't a Bitcoin analysis, but it's important to recognize because that is a very good thing to be mindful of, is to know what Bitcoin is doing any and all times. Having said that, is SUI going to turn around? What are the resistances? Well, we're coming up to a resistance range right now. Just kind of talk about it. The local point of control here with the most amount of volume at 520. So again, that kind of reinforces that resistance. we may see a short-term pullback here. It's hard to say specifically if it's going to punch through, but we have a lot of volume. And as the volume continues to increase or remains high, the more likelihood the price is going to go higher. I know, kind of duh, right? It makes sense. But for the most part, that's just how rudimentary volume is. You have a lot of volume, you're going to probably see the price continue. However, there's a lot of volume above us too, where people have a lot of average positions at 520 to 530. So they're going to be selling as a price enters profit because they're want to getting out of their long position. At least that's how a lot of market makers will interpret that. Hourly time frame. Ichimoku Cloud, all green lights. There's no reason to consider a short, every reason to consider a long. Now, do you just arbitrarily jump into a long right now? Maybe not. I do think Bitcoin's probably going to cool off a little bit. We have a fair value gap here, which could bring us back down to the low $5 mark. So a sensible place to enter would be roughly $5. That's just above our previous all-time high. Keep in mind, this is not the current all-time high, it's previous. That held as a resistance for a while. So that $4.95 to $5 range, likely going to be working as a support if we see that retested. We may not, though. The price will likely continue higher moving forward. So if you do end up getting in, I would say just use a smallish position, low leverage, of course. You don't want to take high leverage at the top, and then just make sure that if the price comes up and breaks through this resistance range, maybe consider adding to your position, and then the price will be more in price discovery at that point and likely to continue higher. Because again, a lot of the momentum here we're going to see is based on this liquidation. Once we get closer to 540, look out, folks. It's going to be dangerous when the price is going to keep going higher. So just do not short this coin. Promise me you'll do one thing and not short this coin. Thank you so much. All right, that's kind of where we're at there with SUI for the most part. Pretty much everything is fully bullish. There's no hidden divergences or anything kind of weird like that. The key takeaway is we're coming back into this resistance range. It's really common for coins to handle out where the price actually, the handle breaks free and the retest and continues higher up. So the likelihood of further upside is greater. Just don't be one of those persons that's 100x leverage at the top here, and then you're using a large position size. If you're going to insist on high leverage, use a very low position, or the inverse is much safer, low leverage with a larger position just because there's more sustainability, less probability of getting liquidated, right? It's a safer trade. So just be mindful of that. Either way, hope you have a good rest of your day. Thanks again so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow if you haven't already. Join us over at Bitunix too, folks. There's awesome benefits this month here with some nice giveaways. No KYC or VPN required. These guys are awesome. And lastly, of course, I'll post our playout chart on our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord here soon. Okay? All right, folks. Have a good rest of your day. Look forward to seeing the next one. Take care.